One of the biggest mistakes that first-time buyers make is buying too small. And I totally get the urge to want to start small. Buying a big multi-million-dollar business as your first acquisition feels really uncomfortable. But typically you do see higher default rates at smaller loan balances. So the default rate for SBA loans below $1 million for acquisition is much higher than the default rate for loans above 2 million. And this is because bigger businesses can be less risky for a few reasons. One, generally you have a larger, more diverse customer base. So typically the bigger you go, the more stable your revenue stream tends to be. The smaller you are, the more volatile it can be. Two, bigger businesses generally have more infrastructure. You have support teams. In a very small business, you have to be an expert at absolutely everything. As you get bigger, you have support. You can have finance people that can help you. You can have marketing people. You can have office staff. You have lots of help versus having to do it all in a very small business. Number three, the bigger you get, the less owner dependent the business is. A very small business, it's probably the owner doing basically everything, and the business is completely dependent on that owner. As you get bigger and bigger and bigger, it becomes less and less dependent on the business owner. So what that means is when you buy a business, you're probably not going to be as good as the seller is at running the business. So that's going to have a huge impact on a small business where the seller is really doing everything versus a larger business where you have a team of people. So you're going to be the weak person on your team in the bigger business, and you can be helped and supplemented by the people around you. Versus a smaller business, you are the teams. Your team is just weak and you can get in trouble very quickly. Now, that's kind of why we set our minimum at 2 million and up. So we do acquisitions, say $2 to $15 million is really the space that we're operating now. That's kind of our sweet spot. We find it just really hard to, one, operate in the sub $2 million area just because the brokers are a lot harder to work with. So it makes your acquisition a lot harder to get done in that space. The records are sloppier. So it's actually harder to buy the smaller business in some ways. And we're buying more of a business at that threshold than if, say, we were buying a $100,000 or $200,000 business. So if you want to buy a business, 2 million and up, come work with us and we can buy a business together.